Hello students, in this video we will do chapter Atmosphere Part 2. So the topic to be covered in this video is structure of atmosphere. Students, this is a part 2 of chapter Atmosphere. If you have not watched the part 1, the link is in the description. You can check it out for better understanding the topic compositions of the atmosphere. So let's start today's topic, structure of atmosphere. The atmosphere of the earth can be divided into 4 major layers. This division is based upon the density and the temperature differences in the atmosphere. Here the density means the thicknesses of the layer. Each layer has a different density. The upper layers press down the lower ones, so the air of the lower layer is always heavier or denser, while the upper layers are thinner or less denser. The denser air remains close to the ground and the density of air decreases as you go upward. In this way, about 90% of mass of air lies within a height about 20 km from the surface of the earth. Now, the 4 major layers of the atmosphere. These are Troposphere, Stratosphere, Mesosphere and Thermosphere. The troposphere is the lowest part of the atmosphere, the part we live in. It extending just above the ground. It extends up to the height of the 16 kilometers over the equator and about 8 kilometers over the poles. It is densest layer of the atmosphere. It is also the closest layer of the atmosphere. The troposphere contains most of our weather like clouds, rain, snow. In this part of the atmosphere, the temperature gets colder as the distance above the earth increases by about 6.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. The actual change of temperature with the height varies from day to day depending on the weather. The decrease in temperature is known as normal lapse rate. The average decrease is 1 degree Celsius from every 166 meters altitude gained. The variations in this temperature is responsible for many turbulences. Due to these turbulences, all weather phenomena take place in this layer. The troposphere contains about 75% of all the air in the atmosphere and all the water vapor which forms clouds and rain. The upper limit of the troposphere, or a boundary in the Earth's atmosphere between the troposphere and the stratosphere, is known as tropopause, and it is making the end of the troposphere. The second layer of the atmosphere is called stratosphere. The stratosphere is also called Ionosphere due to presence of ozone gas. It contains much of the ozone in the atmosphere. The stratosphere extends to a height 50 km from the sea level. In this layer, the temperature also increases with height because of the absorption of the ultraviolet radiation from the sun by this zone. The temperature in the stratosphere are highest over the summer pole and lowest over the winter pole. By observing dangerous UV radiations, this zone, the stratosphere, protect us from the skin cancer and the other health damages. This layer is ideal for flying jet aircrafts because the lower layer of the stratosphere has virtual absence of the water vapor and has constant temperature conditions. the temperature rises from minus 60 degrees Celsius at the base of the stratosphere to 0 degrees Celsius at the stratopause. The upper limit of the stratosphere is known as stratopause. The next layer is Mesosphere. The region above the stratosphere is called the Mesosphere. It extends to a height of 80 km from ground level. The temperature in this layer decreases with the height and reaches a minimum of minus 110 degrees Celsius. The mesosphere is the coldest layer of the atmosphere. It is also the layer in which a lot of meteors burn up while entering the Earth's atmosphere. When meteors hit the mesosphere, there are enough gases to cause friction and create heat. The fourth layer of the atmosphere is called thermosphere. It absorbs the sun radiations and making it very hot. It is the hottest layer in the atmosphere. The thermosphere has a high temperature, but it does not feel hot because the temperature is measure of the energy of the particles. Heat is generated when particles touch one another. The particles in the thermosphere are so far apart and they don't transfer the much energy to one another. The aurora, the northern lights and the southern lights mostly occur in the thermosphere. The thermosphere is directly above the mesosphere and below the exosphere. It is also the largest layer of the atmosphere. The temperature of the thermosphere varies between night and day and between the seasons also, as do the number of ions and the electrons which are present in this layer. It extends 80 km to 600 km above the Earth's surface. And it consists of two layers, ionosphere and the exosphere. The ionosphere extends up to a height of about 400 km. Ions reflect radio waves back to the Earth's surface. This allows us to have wireless communication. And the exosphere, this is the uppermost layer in the structures of the atmosphere. It lies between 400 to 1500 km above the Earth. In the exosphere, the density becomes extremely low. The main gases here are lighter ones like hydrogen and helium. The temperature is very hot in the exosphere due to the particles are moving very fast. When particles are bouncing around slowly, the temperature is cooler. The particles in the exospheres are moving very quickly, so the temperature there is quite hot. However, the exosphere would feel quite cold. So it is very clear that the atmosphere extends more than 1,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. It exercises the numerous pressure on the surface of the Earth and remains in a direct contact with the surface of land as well as the surface of water on the Earth. The contact zone between land, air and water sustains life. The survival of life on Earth depends on this contact. The atmosphere acts and influences life through its various elements. Hope the concept of the atmosphere of the Earth is very clear to you students. Thanks for watching this video. God